Hello and welcome to another Project Falcon Punch video on 2018, another top 5 from me, your host Dan. A little bit different today, just like last year actually, how I did my top 5 2017 games of that year. It was actually taken from Liam Robertson's podcast that I do with him. We do like once a month roughly, and he's kindly let me use his audio from that podcast to make this top 5. I've just sort of trimmed it down, taken off obviously 10 through 6, but if you want to listen to that entire podcast we did, and other podcasts that we've done since then, because we actually recorded this back in January of 2019. Go over to his Patreon, links in the description below if you want to go and check that out. Before I get into my top 5, I'll just say I played a lot of PlayStation VR because I bought the thing back in February of 2018. So most of the year I spent catching up on PSVR games, but I played a lot of more recent PSVR games as well. And since recording this podcast back in January, I've actually gone and played Beat Saber, which is an absolutely phenomenal game. One of my favourite PSVR games for sure. And if I was recording this now as my top 5, that would probably be on my list. Either third or fourth, so just keep that in mind when it's coming to this list. Having said that, this is the penultimate top 5 of 2018. There's one more top 5 to come. That is Liam Robertson's own top 5, again from his podcast. And there's also, actually, having said that, there's also another top 5 video that I did with Andrew on films, believe it or not. That might already be up by the time that this video's gone up, I'm not sure. So if it has, then there you go. Go and watch that if you haven't done already. And without further ado, I'll go straight into my number 5. Take it away past me. Okay, so my number 5 is the game that you just had as your number 6.
Okay.
It's Forza Horizon 4.
Yeah.
Pretty much what you just said about like how it encapsulates the north of England, or just even England or the UK as a whole, because it also has got like Edinburgh Castle in there as well, which I've been to, and that part of Edinburgh is pretty beautiful. I'm not someone who likes realistic driving games at all. This is like on the cusp. This is on the limit for me when it comes to realism, which I know a lot of people that, you know, are sort of Gran Turismo or whatever, and they're just like, oh, Forza Horizon, that's not realistic. Like, yeah, I get that, but for me the realism sort of ends with Mario Kart for me.
Yeah, I totally agree with you there.
Yeah, like
I like more arcadey stuff, and this is about as far as I'll go.
Yeah, totally. And the fact that this is in my top 5 is incredible, because I never would have said that. I probably never would have played this if it wasn't for it being on the Game Pass, but because I played the third one a little bit, the one set in Australia, that was pretty cool. I did like that, but yeah, just to play this one in the UK, I've always liked games set in England anyway, so pretty cool. And I'm surprised you didn't mention one of the best things about this game, which are the events where you can like go on the you can race the hovercraft thing, or you can race a train, you can race an aircraft. One of the cooler ones, at least to me they are, and definitely to you, is the bit where you race in the Warthog from Halo. I'm not even a Halo fan, but like the banter between Cortana in it is just like, oh, this feels like I'm playing a Halo game, but like the Warthog control's good.
Yeah.
I'm not pushing up on the analog stick to move forward. Those things are just really, really cool.
Yeah, see Dan, I had the foresight to know you would put this on your list, so I intentionally forgot all of these great things about it. So because it's one step ahead of you every turn.
You know, I don't want to step on Dan's toes and mention a bunch of things he's probably going to mention, so I'll make sure that I just mention the shitty online, which, yes, the online is not great. We had big problems trying to get connected.
I wouldn't say it's shitty. It's fine when it works.
Yes, once you're on it, you have to be at a certain level to jump into someone else's game. It's just really strange because you have to have a certain amount of things unlocked in your game world. So that part sucks, but the game itself, just really fun. Like, I just love just going through some of the speed cameras with a friend, and where it pop up saying he got 95 miles per hour, and I was like, I've got 94 miles per hour.
Yeah, I love those things.
Yeah.
I love seeing how much you and Borman have got.
Yes.
That bastard Borman, how did he get 250 miles per hour?
You go through a speed camera and it's like, oh, I felt really good. Like, I feel like I did my best, and someone else on your friends list will pop up saying they did like 10 miles per hour better than you. Like, what? What car did they use? So, yeah, stuff like that is really cool, and I'm, again, surprised this is on my list at all, because I don't play driving games.
Yeah.
Number 4 is a big surprise. It almost made my biggest surprise of the year, is A Way Out.
Oh, right. I didn't play this one.
It's a really, really fun game if you play in co-op, because the entire game is co-op. I've not got any notes down for this one, so I'm going to be winging this one.
Can you even play this on your own?
You can. I believe you can jump online and you can go with the randomer, and it just pairs you up with someone. I've not tried that, because the whole concept of this game is actually like being with someone else, whether it's in the room or online. The cool thing about it as well is that if you're playing online, if you want, I can play this with you. I can put it on my Xbox. You download the trial and you can play through the entire entire game with me.
Yeah, that's very cool.
Yeah,
that is.
and I did that with a friend, my friend Steve. We played through the entire game in one sitting. It's about 4 hours long, I think. Just what it does with the co-op aspect of it is just, I don't want to spoil it. Again, it's one of those games that integrates story with gameplay. The way it flips everything on its head towards the end of the game. I've heard some people call out as they don't like the story and stuff. I'm just like, I took it for like a B-movie thing that it was.
Yeah.
Like, this game is probably, in terms of mechanics, like you said earlier with a different game where it's a jack of all trades, master of none. You go through a moment where you've got this like really sort of basic rhythm game with a guitar. Later on, you're like trying to poke fish with a stick to try and catch the fish.
Yeah.
Spoilers, you do break out, but that's like the first hour of the game, and then the rest of the game is about like these two characters on the run and trying to discover who these characters are, because you play as one each, and the whole cool thing is that everything's split screen, so you can see what the other character's doing, like the other player, sorry. So even if you're playing local or online, you'll have the same experience in terms of what you see on screen.
Yeah, that's very cool. I'm interested to see how the co-op and the story integrates. I don't know, like, don't tell me, but I'm imagining it might be like Double Dragon or something. Ever played Double Dragon in co-op?
Yeah. There's some moments like where you're trying to break out and you've got to like press a button in time to when you're like shimmying up this wall, like with back to back going up this wall. One of you keeps failing, the other one keeps doing it right, then you'll like sort of start sliding down because one's going up higher than the other one. So you like, or like maybe you have to distract a guard with one character and then the other character can come round the back and nab him. Or when you're trying to break out the cell, you've got one character looking out of the cell to see if there's any guards coming while the other player is in their cell trying to tunnel their way out. And then when the guards come past you obviously tell the other player, oh shit, the guard's coming, quickly like put the toilet back in front of the thing.
Cool.
It's just loads of little cool things like that. Like I say, it's not the best game or anything in terms of mechanically speaking, but it's just really, really fun in co-op. I thought this is a quite polarizing game. Some people didn't like it and some people like myself actually really did.
Yeah, that is interesting. Yeah, I'll definitely try that out like one day. I don't know, maybe I'll drag my girlfriend into doing that with me. Yeah. So it's one that I meant to play, but it just kind of slipped through the cracks this year. I'll play it at some point.
I imagine it'll be on EA Access or Games with Gold at some point this year.
That seems like something that would go on like Games with Gold.
Brothers was on Games with Gold at some point. I think even PlayStation Plus. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if this happens.
Yes, I think I own that. So, anyway, what's your number 4?
That was number 4. This is my number 3.
Oh,
now.
right. Yeah. What is wrong with me today? Okay, number 3.
My number 3 is a game that everyone that's probably listening to this has played. It's fucking awesome. What else more there's to say about Super Smash Bros. Ultimate? Come on.
Oh, wow. Surprising.
In what way is it surprising?
I'm just kidding. It's not surprising.
I was going to say.
It'd be on everyone's list.
Yeah, it's...
Of course.
I'm a huge Smash Brothers fan. I'm not even going to try and pretend that I'm in any way competent enough to like challenge like in a competitive sense because I genuinely do not give a fuck about that. When I see people tweet out, no offense to them, like genuinely no offense to people that like that sort of stuff, when I see people tweet out like their tier list, I'm like, okay, whatever.
Yep, me too. I agree.
Just start with some of the new characters, which, you know, that's always the cool thing with every new Smash Brothers. You know, how are the new characters? And I feel like this is maybe the best newcomer list. But in this game, I'm not even a Castlevania guy, but my god, Simon Belmont is so cool to play as.
Yeah.
King K. Rool, also awesome. Ridley as well. I've not had enough time to play as Ridley because I've only recently unlocked him, but he is just, as a Metroid fan and wanted him in the games for years, it's so cool to finally see him here. The classic mode as well, it's so cool to finally get a bespoke classic mode and not just, here's a bunch of random fights that then you fight Master Hand at the end, and I'm fucking so tired of fighting Master Hand. I've been fighting him for the last 20 years. And just to like have the end of Link classic mode, you fight Ganon, and it's Ocarina of Time Ganon on the top of the burning tower.
Yeah.
And you can't fight him from the front, you have to hit his tail from behind, which is actually hard, but it's just cool because it's Zelda fan service at its finest. It's just Nintendo fan service at its finest. The World of Lights, which I won't say that it's like amazing or anything, but in terms of single player gameplay wise, it's probably the best Smash Brothers has ever been.
Yeah.
I miss the story of Brawl, and I miss like the more adventure style of Melee, but having just like this cool overworld map, the thing I love about it is it's not a linear path. You can go like different locations. If you find a certain event or fight hard, you can just don't do it, come back to it later when you've leveled up. Speaking of the leveling up, there's like a light RPG system, which I really enjoy. It has like a rock, paper, scissors sort of effect thing.
Yeah.
The events themselves are really fun, like how you fight a Snorlax, but it's just actually King K. Rool who just stands there. It's a huge K. Rool that doesn't move. Go into the fight and then you just see the gimmick of whatever it is, and you're like, oh, that's kind of funny. There's a few that are complete bullshit. The ones, especially when it's like a fight against a bunch of Mega Mans, and I'm like, okay, that sounds fine. online, they all just like rape my soul and like get the biggest combos off of me. I'm like, what the? Okay.
Yeah.
So I try to avoid some of the horde ones because I find them honestly kind of tough to handle. But other than that, the only other negative I would say is that there's no trophies. And as much as I love all these spirits that you can level up, not having any bios with them is kind of lame.
Yeah.
I do miss that aspect of it, honestly.
It does feel like it was something that got the chop in order to get this game out sooner.
Yeah, and I feel like it just feels like me being like selfish now. But if it had a couple of things like trophies, maybe a bit more story in the similar to Subspace, this would quite easily be a number one of the year. Like honestly, And I've enjoyed playing multiplayer as well. I guess I should mention that because this game, at the end of the day, as cool as it is playing a single player for once, it's really, really fun in multiplayer as it is ever because there's a fuck ton of characters and there's a huge amount of stages. I haven't played online. I've not got the Nintendo Online service, but I hear the online's not great, but not bad as well.
Yeah, I've heard very mixed things about
Same.
it. Some people are like fine with it.
Yeah.
I haven't played it either because I don't really care. Smash Brothers is not a game that I like to play online because I don't like any lag at all when I'm playing it. Like I can't deal with even a little bit. Much rather just play it with some friends in person.
Yeah, totally. I guess moving on to my number 2, another big surprise of the year, I never would have thought this would make my list, is Monster Hunter World.
Oh wow, I didn't even know you played that. Actually, I think you mentioned it like once, but I'd just totally forgotten about that.
Yeah, I think when I've played it for a few hours and was enjoying it, I will say this, like, I've played Monster Hunter in the past. I had the Wii one, I put about 10 hours into it, I found it incredibly impenetrable, I could not get into it.
I feel that, yeah.
Yeah, and then I think I downloaded the demos of 4 and Generations on the 3DS, and was like, feels like just more of that, whatever. And then like late last year, I'm talking like in October, because this game was out in January of 2018, went down in press and a couple of friends were like, should we get this? And I'm like, sure, go on then, 20 quid, whatever. Played it with 3 other friends, and the other 3 who are probably just as well as equipped and on Monster Hunter as me, and we like sort of learnt the game together.
That's cool.
I will say this, actually, it's a really good game to play on your own still, because the online is really fun, where you can, if you're on a fight or whatever quest you're doing, you can send out an SOS flare, and any players around the world that are searching for specifically people who need help can jump into your game and they can help you.
That's neat, yeah.
But really the best thing about it is just playing multiplayer with friends, and that's what I did. I loved playing with the Insect Glaive, which is this big like stick that you essentially pogo into the floor, and you can jump on the back of the monsters and slash the hell out of them. One of my friends likes shooting them from a distance, another one likes having the big long sword. So we all have our own like weapons of choice that are effective at certain things, and the reason why I think it's just so much better than it was in the past is because it's just so much more streamlined than before. I will still say there's a lot of Monster Hunter bullshit still here that's present.
Okay.
But this is finally the game that I'm like, I like Monster Hunter. I can't believe I'm saying that in 2018 or 2019 now, that I like Monster Hunter now, and I'm interested to see where that franchise goes. Having a huge interconnected world of like, I don't know if you played previous Monster Hunters, but in the world map you would have like 10 different land locations that were connected by these little essentially tunnel loading screens, that when you go through one tunnel you come out the other end after a loading screen. This game, it has that similar sort of concept, but everything is seamless in that there's no loading screens. The world itself just feels alive. The fact that you see numbers popping off of monsters when you hit them is incredibly obvious to do in a game. Like if you hit a monster, you want to see what number of damage you're doing to it. In the original Monster Hunters, you didn't have that. And just to have that, like, sort of, there's so much quality of life things in this game that they improved over the past games that it made me understand what Monster Hunter is to people. I understand now why these games are so revered, because I finally got over that hurdle. I'm enjoying the hell out of it, and I will still continue to play this game because I love it a lot, honestly.
This is like a game where, you know, everything you've just said sounds really appealing to me. I really wish there was cross-play.
Yes, because I got it on PS4,
So you and I could play together. I could play with my girlfriend. And that kind of thing, right? I don't know anyone who is playing this on Xbox One. So that's the problem for me, because I only own an Xbox One. I don't play on PC or PS4, so...
And I would say, like I said, I think the game's still fun to play on your own, but it does go up that next level when you play with friends.
Yeah, this definitely sounds like it comes to life in co-op.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah, that is the thing, especially with the Switch this year. Just so many games. Every week there's something. There's a bunch that I didn't get around to playing, like Guacamelee 2 and this. It's a shame, but I mean, it's a good problem to have, but also contemplate. Anyway, yeah, tell us your number one.
I don't know if you have any ideas what you think my number one is.
I'm not really sure, to be honest with you.
It is Astrobot Rescue Mission.
Why didn't I realize that? Okay, go on, yeah.
It's my biggest surprise because I didn't expect anything from it, like I mentioned before, and the fact that it's like so great. The Playroom demo thing that was kind of okay at best, then they made a full game out of that and charged not full price, it's like £30. I was like, oh, okay, I guess I'll play it. Then I heard loads of cool things about it and thought, alright, fine, I like VR, I'll play it. It feels like a Nintendo game that was made in VR. Like it has so many of those Nintendo tropes where you'll play a level that's one environment with one gameplay gimmick, and then the next level you're doing something completely different. And it's just the variety in this game is just constant. There's one level where you're in a haunted area and you use the DualShock to like aim a flashlight around and like light up platforms for Astrobot to jump onto. There's ghosts that are coming out and you have to flash them to do that. That's one level. That lasts 20 minutes. You never have that again. You never have the flashlight ever again. It's move on to the next thing. Now you're flicking shuriken stars like to cut down bamboo strips in like a Japanese inspired level, and then you're firing onto these walls, the stars that you can use as platforms to jump Astrobot across.
It sounds very much like the Nintendo kind of Mario first party school of design going on there.
Totally.
Yeah.
Mechanically speaking, with Astrobot himself, you have a jump and you have a hover and a one button attack. That's it. It's very basic in that front, like unlike Mario Odyssey where you have like a side flip, a butt stomp, a long jump, a triple jump, all that. You don't have as much at your disposal. It's a lot more basic than that, but it's what you do as the player. You have loads of these other little cool mechanics in the controller. You're in part of this world. Where you're getting swallowed by this huge whale in the water. Like it feels so cool to be underwater in this game anyway. You get swallowed by this huge whale, then you're inside the whale and you've got these waves hitting you and you feel like you're in a wave machine. There's just so many cool moments like that in this game. Is it on the same level as Super Mario Odyssey? No, I don't think it is, but it does so many cool things with VR that I haven't experienced in any other VR game to me. I don't really platinum games, like I get all the trophies in games these days, but this is a game that I've gone back and there's a few challenge missions and stuff you can do, and I'm going to go and do all that because I just want to keep playing this game. It's a shame that it's in VR in the way because I have to set up my VR every time I want to play it because I always pack it away when I finish playing with it, so that's a hassle. Right. But like actually playing this game in VR is half of the experience. I don't think that this would translate at all well to just a regular game. I could see this almost getting a PS5 port in like 3 years time or whatever, and it'd be like, oh, why did everyone love this game? It's just a basic platformer. You feel like you're involved in the game. You're not just controlling this little robot, even though he's fucking awesome and he'll wave at you every time he walks past the camera, or you're underwater and if he's swimming into you, he like gets stuck on your visor and you have to shake him off. There's just loads of cool interactive moments that just feel like you're not just an observer of this world, you're a participant. That's something that I haven't experienced in a game really, except for in this game, and I just think that for that it just deserves my number one spot. And looking back on the games I've chosen, never would have assumed that a Monster Hunter, a VR game and a Forza game would make in my top 5, but it did. And the whole list of almost is like my biggest surprise because I thoroughly enjoyed all these games on this list.
Well, that's cool. Yeah, it certainly seems like you've been trying to broaden your horizons.
Yep.
Good for you.
Yeah, like Smash Brothers, that was always going to be on my list. I knew it was, but like I never would have assumed that a Monster Hunter or a Forza game would be on there. Like it's nuts to me.